Hello everyone, welcome to the Middleton Nighttime Broadcast episode 2. It's not a fallacy, it's not a fantasy, I promised. It was gonna happen. But yes, so welcome everyone, welcome to episode 2, which we're gonna be focusing on music this episode, which I think is perfect considering a lot of you, summer's wrapping up, and depending on where you are in the United States, college can start or some colleges can start at like the beginning of August. And and they'll go till mine doesn't start till the end of August. So I have me and everyone. I got Ricky here with me again.
Hello.
And we're doing something a little different. So for the past multiple iterations of this, I've always recorded my audio separate in Audacity. And then, the casual thing of convert it into an MP3 or a WAV file, and then, you put it in. But right now I'm recording in OBS. So, you guys will have to tell me how that is, along with I have a new microphone. So,
sounding good.
Yeah, I have, obviously Ricky's listening to the my lovely tablet's microphone array, but how would I say this?
Wait, I'm not hearing the audio quality from your microphone. I'm only hearing your tablet.
Yeah, you're hearing my tablet audio for you.
Why are you skimping out? I mean, you still sound good. I thought you sounded great.
Let me see. Can I even do that? Well, can a microphone share programs?
Yeah, all mine share the AT2020.
Okay, how does that sound?
Oh, much better. Oh, let me turn that up though. There we go.
So yeah, I have a new blue snowball. I bought the legitimate blue snowball. I didn't buy the, I think it's the ice one, which is
yeah, that's garbage.
And I got this one because I also fully plan to have local friends come and do the podcast with me. And I'm going to tell you guys, trying to record a podcast with multiple people on a headset microphone, that can work, but oh boy,
it's hard.
Yeah, it's what would I say? It would not behoove me to use a headset microphone to record multiple people in a non-padded room. So I bought this, and to be frank, with all the supply and demand for technology and chips and everything, I was very surprised that this was only in total $60 microphone, $70 after shipping tax. But I was damn, I'm gonna put some budget into this.
It's I like blue microphones because they make pretty good budget friendly mics. I used to use the Yeti exclusively until a friend of mine gave me the Audio-Technica 2020 USB as a gift. God, I went through 4 of those. But prior to that, I was a Yeti, a Snowball user myself.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really good if you just want to start up a podcast, or if you're just, casually wanting something to upgrade from. And if you want to take it even more seriously, buy the Yeti. And if you want to take it even more seriously, they have something else that's the size of a quarter, like the microphone is, but it is top of the line $2,000-$3,000 microphone. They basically have different tiers of what you want.
You know what's funny is the big reason why I like the Snowball so much though is because it's round, and I find it
it's early 2000s aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. Now don't get me wrong, for anyone that uses the Blue Yetis, which has that more traditional studio-esque microphone that I believe even some of those the Yeti and the Yeti X, I believe, even are on that little swivel thing that you can move to angle it better at yourself.
Oh, that's right. They did make a Yeti X.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used that, but anyone in the comments, let me know if it's good. I used the OG one.
I think one of my friends who was in, I don't remember what the degree was at my college, but it was a voice acting role in drama. And he would do a lot of animated stuff, and his microphone was the Blue Yeti, and that thing, he would do it in a padded room. That shit sounded crisp. But yes, so for everyone,
my issue with the old, with the old Yetis is the production quality, because I said, I went through 4 of them. 2 of them worked. The other two, the button like fell inside the microphone, and I could never get it out because it was just ding, 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 jingling in there. And then the other one dented somehow, just by touching it, just like indented, like it was aluminum foil. Like the build quality of them were just horrible at the time. Granted, this was like 2016, 2014-ish.
I honestly feel
somewhere around there.
Well, I feel like since 2016, streaming has gotten more prevalent, and I think in that they probably might have upgraded the build quality and everything because...
Oh, look into the Yeti X. It seems like it. Like, this looks pretty professional.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Though I think this should be your next upgrade.
The price point, though, made me terrified.
Woo.
But for right now, yes, I will use the blue snowball, and as you guys can probably see in the new image, I included it because... Let's be realistic. Ricky and I record our own audios. I am recording Ricky as well, just as a failsafe. But for the most part, Ricky gives me his audio because it's always going to be better than what you're going to record over a Discord call. But you know,
oh, no doubt,
we got to have the immersion a little bit for you guys. So I put a microphone in the picture for you all. But I guess to really kick things off, we can do the icebreaker. Which you kind of already are doing, but I will say it has been roughly a month since Ricky and I have recorded the first episode, and it's much of the same. Not like too much has happened. Luckily, knock on wood. Like on a world-ending event, we'll see how that pans out in a couple.
Why would you even say that? You know we're gonna jinx ourselves.
I'm just testing the waters anymore. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Like, what is gonna happen? Because now, for anyone wondering, by the way, we've said this before in like the last episode. From the original first episode that's no longer up to the new one, so much stuff happened in just springtime, and so now we're just like, I don't think anyone's surprised anymore about anything that happens. But unlike some minor stuff, I've now been at my job for an entire month. I got my own insurance set up for dental and medical. I got a very, very, very good understanding of my job now, especially with the team I'm on. And they taught me some shortcuts that I did not learn about in training, which will make my like overall job like so much easier. And I even found out that like the company that like we do our quotes and process orders for, I was told in training, do not contact them, do not call them, do not do anything. They will talk to me if they need anything. And I was like, you know what? That's freaking fabulous. Because it's like, if I don't have to make nurture calls to make sure everything's going good with them, freaking mint. I don't have to talk to people. Like, I'm fine with talking with people, like, obviously within the team and the company. Because everyone in the company has, like, a great hygiene. Everything is super professional and kind. And if there is anything, it's sort of like what I do with Discord groups. It's like, hey, let's squash this because we can't have this in a professional workspace environment, or else it's going to get real toxic real fast. Like when you date someone in high school and then you break up and then you have to see them every single day in the same building for like umpteen how many years you're in high school for.
Yeah, you eventually have to lose that grudge.
Yeah.
Just awkward if you don't.
Yeah, and I feel like eventually, I mean, it depends on the severity of like a relationship or what have you that causes it. But I'm just like, if it's at work where you make a living, it's like, that's why I refuse. I absolutely refuse to date anyone at my workplace.
I agree with that. I do not recommend people do that. If there's people that have and it worked out, great. But, there's always that, hey, you got to deal with them day to day. Well, hopefully it didn't go too bad, Well,
it doesn't help that, like, okay, take this for example, Ricky. Say the breakup's really bad. Right. Accusations can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to disregard gender in this. I'm just saying accusations can happen, And that's when people can lose their jobs and stuff can get lawsuity. And I'm like, yeah, no, I refuse. I love my job. I worked for 3 years on getting in. So
Well, that should be the thing. Don't date anyone at your job if it's a job that you don't want to risk losing. Because if it's a job where you're like, whatever, if I lose this pizza job, who cares? That's one thing. But if you worked years to get yourself in that position and you're going to risk it for dating someone, I mean, I guess go at it, but I wouldn't.
I don't think I would do it only because I don't want to ruin something that's good, especially when it's like, your livelihood.
Right.
And
Pays the bills.
Yeah, that's what put bread on the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of everything else, just in my case, not much has happened. Like the blue snowball, I'm happy I have this thing. I've been enjoying, I think, honestly, to God, what has kept me going so much through these days is having Final Fantasy, be my, my good addiction in a way. Because, yes, everyone, if you want to play Final Fantasy 14, the critically acclaimed MMORPG with a free trial up to level 60 and the award-winning Heaven's Ward expansion. Go play
Use code Nytetime to get 20% off the next drop.
Boy, I wish. Oh, if I got sponsored by Square, I think my heart would fall out my butt. But no, I love 14 so much. Because it is my chill game. Like Genshin used to be my chill game until I started getting annoyed with it.
Yeah, it became way too, I agree, it just became too much. It wasn't chill anymore, it was just grindy. Everything was grindy.
And
not in a satisfying way either.
No, because you're not guaranteed anything.
Right. Pay to win.
But has there been anything, I don't know if there's anything you feel like within the past month, Ricky, that you would want to highlight at all?
I don't know if I talked about this in the last podcast, but I had some major dental work done. And now all I have to worry about is a few cavities. This is something that I've been waiting on for 7 years, so it's pretty big for me. I'm pretty happy. I had I guess in layman's terms, some rotting teeth that needed to be taken care of, and some root canals, and doing pretty good now. I got some nice caps on there. I need to schedule my permanents, so I guess next podcast we'll hear how that went. But I already kind of had a cap on a couple weeks ago for my front tooth. I'll be honest, I can't even tell that tooth is like a cap. It just feels real.
I think that's good though, because I think in episode 1, that was a week before you were going to get the procedure done.
Oh, that's right. Well, that went smoothly. I had some gum pain initially, but when they put on the permanents, it went away quickly.
That's good. That's the one thing that you hope for is you're going through all the did they knock you out for it?
No, I was just numb.
Oh,
I was awake for all of it. I had 2 root canals done in the same day.
What is I dread asking this question. Can you hear your teeth grinding away at all when they do it, or do you just hear a drill and that's all you hear?
You hear a drill, but you smell your teeth. Because the whole time they're drilling, there's this small bit of dust almost that comes out and it just stinks. And then you realize, oh, that's my tooth. They're literally grinding it so finely that it's dissolving into powder and floating in the air.
And
I was like, fuck, I just wish I was it stinks too. It's just because especially if they're grinding it down, it usually means the inner part of it's rotten or has some decay, so you're smelling the decay and you're just oh.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think of, just in terms of that's pretty mild.
Trigger warning, sorry about that.
The moderate chaos that this podcast still has, that I enjoy. But
at least we spared the audience the sound effects of drills or something.
I'll say slight trigger warning for this, but most people are asleep for this. I've seen what, from the outside perspective on a person who's getting their wisdom teeth taken out of their head, they football grip your head and rip those things out.
Oh gosh.
And that's why they say like you're gonna feel a little sore and tired after it, because your body is literally getting manhandled like you're a corpse. Because for anyone who doesn't know, like your wisdom teeth are like your adult teeth. They're a part of your jaw. So when
They're meant to stay there.
yeah, and they're cracking them out of your jaw. So
Well, with root canals, it's a little like easier, ironically. Like, I don't know what they put in my mouth, but it was kind of like a shower curtain type thing with like a hole in it, so that they could aim only at that one tooth. But the way it works is they just drill a hole into the tooth and put this like rod in there and dip it in and out to drill out the infection, and then they're done. Like, it's just a matter of don't, like, I was the whole time I was like, don't move, I don't want it to wiggle and fuck nothing up. Might have to censor that part out, but you know, I don't want it to mess it up. And I don't know, that was my whole fear. And then after the first one was done, and they're like, oh, well, while we were in there, you were in some pain, so we need to do another root canal. And I was like, all right, well, the first one went well, so I'm not that worried. I guess go ahead and do it. I'm already here. Let's get this over with.
Do you have dental insurance now because of your job?
I have a form of insurance.
But yeah,
It's like a prepaid card thing. I plan to upgrade actual insurance later in the year.
I am super happy that you finally got that done though, because like, so in the other Discord group I'm in with a bunch of my friends that I stream with, the Final
Fantasy bros.
Exactly. Like, so his name's Cleve, and he's the dude I told you about who cracked his tooth.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so he has to see a specialist before they'll do anything. And they said the closest time we can get you to a specialist is 4 weeks out. So he has to live with this pain for 4 weeks, and then like he does that thing, like, you know when you have like spicy food and you take an initial like sip of a drink and it like cools things down for a second before the spice comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Think about ice cold water and doing that and calming the pain of the tooth, but then it comes back.
Yeah. Dude. He should get that stuff that like numbs your gums.
What, like Novocaine?
Well, like the gel. I think you buy it at like Walgreens or something.
Maybe I could tell him about that because I used to use that stuff. And
it'll give us some temporary relief, at least for like 30 minutes or an hour.
Or even like put it on before you go to sleep. And
then you fall asleep easier.
He has trouble sleeping because of it. I'm like,
put a little bit of that on it.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of what's it, melatonin. It should be out like a light.
Okay, so I guess what we'll do is we'll go into our first topic.
Oh wow, we haven't got the first topic yet.
Well, we're on track still. But topic 1 is, what music do you like / gets your attention? And this is, over your life.
Can I read the notes here?
Yeah.
Jake wrote down, makes brain go brrr.
Gotta make the brain go brr. Gotta. That's what captures the attention.
Gosh, lately? And I don't listen to music a lot lately. It's a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos that I have YouTube Premium, so I can just listen to any video like a podcast. So that's what I've been doing. But when I do listen to music, for me, I mean, it's usually like, I don't know, I've been super into psychedelic like music, punk rock, any like progressive rockish kind of stuff. It's just something to get the blood going. You're like, but prior to that, I used to be super into like EDM, house music, big room, electro, Europop, Eurobeat, and all that kind of stuff. But I think because I've just almost all my life listened to that now I'm in this stage of my life where I'm like, all right, well, what else is going on in the music world? Because I want to see other genres.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I'm still in the EDM world. Like, cold hog. But here's the thing. For me, oh god, I'm like so embarrassed to admit this is how I choose music. If I can put the music to a fight scene, that's what's going to be on my Spotify playlist.
I used to be super into Zomboy, Afrojack, Benny Benassi, who else? Dead Mouse. I mean, everyone's into fucking Dead Mouse.
for me,
especially from the 2000s.
For me, I'm like Skrillex.
Oh, him. Mm-hmm.
Tritonal, Galantis. Oh God, Avicii.
Oh, I miss him.
Who else? Well, Zed. I like Zed. I listen to Malibu. There's a lot. There's a lot of artists, but then it's like that's just EDM. Like for punk rock and stuff that I listen to like Bring Me the Horizon. I listen to like I don't know if Fall Out Boy technically counts anymore. They've definitely leaned more like.
You've been showing me some like pop punk stuff.
Yeah.
You've been into that too.
Yeah, like what was another one? Like Stand Atlantic's one of them.
Oh yeah, they're pretty good.
There's Stand Atlantic. There's so much. If I had like my Spotify, which actually I do have it pulled up here, I can just look real fast. Cause I got. Like,
yo, we should make a playlist one day and like share it with the viewers.
Oh, Ricky, you and I could easily make like. Well, do you use Spotify?
Oh yeah.
Because like if you want to, we can easily make a Spotify playlist, and then it's like if we find music that we like, just add it, and then it becomes a mashup. But yeah, let me just go.
Yeah, it'd be like a DJ mashup of like, oh, well, here's something Ricky would listen to. Here's something Jake would listen to.
I also got my sad boy music. Like I got AJR. I got funnily enough, Ali and AJ, who were like those old Disney like blonde girls. Like
oh yeah,
they're making a lot more like adult versions of all their old songs.
Oh, that's cool. Kind of like a Miley Cyrus thing.
Yeah. Red Foo's music, because his music.
Oh my god, I used to. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. At high school, all I would listen to is EDM and LMFAO and Red Food. That was it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you listened to this artist before, Falling in Reverse?
No.
Ooh.
I mean, I might have heard them. Sometimes I hear songs and I don't know the name of the artist.
If you
so it's possible.
If you want, they got a little bit of screamo in their music, but
okay,
ooh, you gotta. I recommend everyone. Falling in Reverse's music is a journey. But yeah, I mean, I like a lot of music where it's high octane energy. But
oh yeah,
I think the thing that I'm trying to find, and I thank Spotify for this so much, because I found so many like diamonds in the rough out of like songs that sound the same all the time, is I want something that like when I hear it, and I go through Spotify, my like Spotify weekly stuff and release radar pretty fast, because if the pre-chorus and the chorus don't sound unique, don't have an interesting beat, and sound generic, like very formulaic EDM or punk rock or whatever, it's not going to get on my thing. And that's not for me saying like the music is bad. It's just like I'm hearing something that sounds like Fall Out Boy's like Thank You for the Memories, exactly the same. It's just pitch shifted with different lyrics, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's why I dipped out of EDM for a bit, because it started sounding the same. This was like a year or two ago. Like, I still listen to the older stuff. Like the bands I mentioned before, but why I stopped keeping up with the next newest greatest song? Like, I listen to Tomorrowland whenever that festival goes on, but other than that, it was just all like dun 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 dun, or freaking when they do the ooh ah like the little voice sample thing, like I think DJ Snake started that, but then everyone else besides him started copying him, and then just wasn't cool anymore. In my opinion, it's just like, all right, we get it.
You know, an artist that does that a lot would be Tiesto, but
BTS.
No, Tiesto's music.
Oh, Tiesto. Yeah, but
like his music
does it all right.
His music is made to be like that, but Tiesto also does like that. It's kind of like the low down house music that's like sexy in a way.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of this one artist that you probably like.
Freaking Slushy's music. I love Slushy's music, but sometimes his music sounds like shit.
Oh, Joyride. I used to like a lot of his stuff.
Oh yeah, I have some of like the music on Spotify as well.
He's collabed with Skrillex, I think, right? Yeah.
You know what game has like a bumpin' soundtrack, and it's the only reason I would ever play it now that it's fixed a little bit. Is
What's that?
Cyberpunk has some of the best freaking music in it ever.
I like the theme song.
I just feel so bad that...
Don't they call it Darkwave?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I would... my boyfriend, he bought that game. He was very into it, but I guess the story left him a little kind of predictable. And this is his opinion, not mine, but it might change in the future. But he was like, listen, they could fix the whole game. It could play great, but the story is just kind of weak. And I'm like, obviously I haven't played it. I can't tell you if the story's weak or not, but I think if they came out with DLC that was like different storylines and they kept updating that, then it could be like a really, really good game.
Yeah, I don't mind how Cyberpunk is, other than like, I think the scariest thing was like, for anyone who's wondering, I don't get seizures, I don't have epileptic stuff, but I've seen the before patched version of
everything's flashing.
I was like, how did this pass? Like, oh my god, that's if someone was playing that, because I know some of, like, we're all heathens, some of us like to play in the dark. If you were playing that in the dark, you're like
your whole room
like
be lighting up like a rave club.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh god, my eyes, Jesus. Ugh. But besides that, Cyberpunk looks like a great game.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I think honestly, the music I like right now is just things that I can either feel like I can make an anime cutscene to with like all my characters. I need my chill music, or I need to have the sad boy music, because the sad boy music.
You listen to Oliver Tree?
Oh yes, all the time.
Love Oliver Tree. He's my like I get his whole thing's being goofy, but if you like didn't see what he looked like at all and just heard the music, oh, it feels.
Well, I think he looks goofy, but a lot of the stuff that does happen in the music videos that he does is a artistic representation of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because Cash Machine from him,
such a good one.
I used it for Danny in a picture. Because obviously he's the second richest dude in the thing, and it's like, oh, people just want to be around him for the money. And then when he cuts people off, it's like, oh, they're no longer friends with him. It's like, okay, great. Frick you. Besides Andrew, and then later all my other goobers, but
it's a sad thing people don't talk about, I guess, because like maybe it's taboo, or I don't know, we just don't talk about it, but people are always like, oh, rich people this, rich people that. I'm like, yeah, but to an extent, when you're decently well off, you're discriminated because everyone thinks you have everything, when really you bust your ass to get to that point, and you're still busting your ass to stay at that point.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. I'm very lucky that I got to go to college, and my parents put like the money aside to make sure that it's like, hey, I'm leaving college without any college loans, you know? But
right.
I'm on my own now, and if I wasn't so lucky to be where it's like I get to rent the house that I'm in my area, no one my age, fresh out of college, can get a house. Barely an apartment. So I'm still busting my balls, and I'm gonna make sure that I do good at my job. And I think after my first 6 months there, depending on how good my performance is, will actually depend on what my salary will get put up to, for like, its first big increment. So yeah, and I had like some friends, like just some close friends, with like, how much do you make? And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you, because money, for anyone who's wondering, I've said this before, but like, out of the three evils, which is politics, religion, and money, I would never talk about that. Not on a podcast. Discussing it with friends, like really close friends that I know are not going to throw a hissy fit in a conversation because, not agreeing with their side or what have you. and trying not to, just be friends with you because you got the muns, I'll have a conversation with that. But I will say most of my local friends I don't think can have that conversation, nor would I want to. So yeah, I will refuse to ever talk about money. But I love Oliver Tree's song because it does hammer home that some people use money and buy themselves happiness. Some people will be with other people who have the money so that they can vicariously enjoy things through them. And then the moment that it's like, hey, you're no longer a friend to the person with money, and the friend sees that, they feel backstabbed because they gave them their all to you, and just because they didn't want to make extravagant things for you, that it's like,
Right.
it's like, okay, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because you cut me off. I'm like, okay, fine, go see how hard the world is and try to earn your own money. Money hurts. But that Oliver Tree song and many of his songs, I recommend all of you to listen to. Like, what's another one from him that I like? There was one that he sang, and I damn near almost cried listening to it. It wasn't like,
I feel like his songs are also from a place of like, he didn't grow up with this money he now has.
no.
In fact, if you look back further, he's been under like 2 aliases. I think one was just Tree, and the other one was something else, like something Garden, or I don't know. But basically, those didn't take off. It was when he started incorporating rap influences that he created the new sound, which is Oliver Tree. And now that he's kind of popping off, maybe it's self-commentary at himself, but he's always displaying himself as a joke, as a character, because maybe that's what he feels like people call him. He's a joke. He's a one-hit wonder. He's just a character.
No, he's great. Like, Alien Boy.
It's all commentary and like, I love it.
Alien Boy.
Alien Boy's so good.
Alien Boy's one of my favorites. Me, Myself, and I. All in All, Out of the Ordinary. All of his music basically says what everyone's thinking, is just too scared to say it because it doesn't fit social norms.
I love the song Hurt. When I had like a really bad breakup, that was like my comfort song.
You know what's a song that it is a pun in and of itself because of the song's name, but one of the songs I'll listen to when I'm doing artwork, where like all my gears are turning and the ADHD brain is running scenarios after scenarios of just anything. Introspection from him. That song, how would I say this? It's not a song that is like by far any favorites, but I don't hate it. It's one of those songs that I like almost just respect that it was made. And that kind of bleeds into our topic 2, which is, what is something like you do not like about music these days, but what you feel, or like what you feel is missing. And I want songs that were like back in the early 2000s. Like, do you remember the Black Eyed Peas What Is Love song that was talking about all the stuff that was happening in the United States?
Gosh, I don't know if I remember it.
I would, like, anytime, I'd recommend you to go listen back to it, because like they talked about, small trigger warning for everyone, they talked about 9/11, they were talking about like,
Oh, I've heard this one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. The music video and stuff.
yeah, that thing hits.
For me, I do miss when music had like a meaning. Like, instead it's just like, I'm in the club, I'm dancing, but I have women. I miss when music had soul, when people like learned how to play an instrument and didn't open their laptop and throw in beats into Fruity Loops or Reaper or Ableton. And if you do that, I'm not criticizing you, I'm just saying everyone's doing that, and I just wish there was a little bit more life in music, like a guitar here or there. There's some real drums, like something to kind of give it a more acoustic or natural, I guess, feeling.
I think
everything's synthetic.
I think that's why I loved, like, I think that's why God, what is the song? It's by, I think he's a fairly like young artist. What is it? His name is Chasen, Chasyn, and he did a song with Lucas Blair, and it has like it's kind of like the thing Avicii does, where it's that country singer, but then EDM parts of the music. So you have both the soul and the life, and someone who's singing from meaning, and then you have something that kind of uplifts the beat and switches the song up like part of the way through. I love music like that, and I think that's a big reason why I'm liking as much as I will say I do shit on hyperpop music, because that is sadly like something that's like super prevalent, and I get it, because guess what, TikTok and Instagram and anything that has shorts, it's a very popular thing, because you can fit like the chorusy trendy part of the song in like a short 15-second video if that's all someone really needs. But
Yeah.
what was it? I think it was Pity Party by Stand Atlantic. They had a hyper what did they call it? Pity Party Hyperpunk remix. I can stand punk rock stuff being remixed, especially if it's done by the group themselves. But I don't know. I think music now kind of lacks the air of mystery. Like when I was a kid and I'd be on those road trips and you'd have like, I don't know, even something as like mundane as thinking about like the air of like late 90s, early 2000s, like Euro music that kind of had that like anthem sound, that echoey, transcendent, eternal feeling of like all of them. And I think something in more recent times that kind of hit that was like Owl City's Fireflies, where the song from a traditional standpoint doesn't make sense, but from the artsy, trying to think outside the box style that like Owl City did with all their lyrics, is great. I love the music. This sounds bad, I'll say it. It's like music that if you listen to high, you would have a transcendental moment.
So are you trying to say that like music to where it's not obvious what the song is about 90% of the time? Like you can kind of like interpret different meanings from it?
Yeah, because
yeah, I agree with that. I feel like, well, like I said earlier, like a lot of songs you can just literally boil it down to like we're having a good time, we're partying, we're getting drunk. Oh my god, that was a crazy weekend we had, and then that's the whole song.
yeah.
Whereas like shoot, some of Oliver Tree's songs that like I had to listen to him quite a bit, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this song isn't about this, it's about this. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, like I have just some here that are songs like Barbie Girl by Aqua, Dancing Queen by ABBA, Take a Chance on Me by ABBA, all like the older songs that,
Yeah.
By the way, for anyone, if you want a weird, like, if you enjoy like those weird sexual tension moments in movies, watch the video for like Take a Chance on Me. That music is
Remember that weird era of like YouTube and kind of the music world where every song just sounded like, oh, you touch my ta-la-la, and then like Wookie Wookie in the kitchen, I'm a Barbie girl, boom 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 boom, I want you in my, like every song was just that sound.
all just Vanga Boys music.
Yeah, just Eurodance just ruled the airwaves, and then Hamster Dance like no. Which I found out recently, and I feel stupid for not realizing, it is a sample from the animated Robin Hood movie that Disney made.
Oh.
The ticka dee da dee da do do dee ba dee ba do. Like that's how it goes slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I was because I watched it recently. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they sampled. What?
Do you know the Ozone song, Dragostea Dinte, which is that God, I can't even like think of the lyrics, but it's the one where they're on that plane, that CGI plane, just dancing. If you look up the song, you would know exactly what I am saying, but that was like old YouTube music. Oh my god, Bass Hunter is old music. Can't think of
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh. What was that other one that sounded kind of like Dota, where it's like it was a breakup song?
It's not Bass Hunter. Give me a second. I know what it is.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
It's
all I ever wanted was to see you smiling. All I ever wanted was to make you mine.
Yeah, I mean they're the same songs. You just
That was awesome. I used to listen to him like crazy.
What's
the same melody? It's not the same song.
Bass Hunter. I can't think of like all the grandfathers of like some EDM tracks, but I'll tell you guys one thing. Don't ever like try to hate on like Euro pop music, because
That's where a lot of that started, right?
yeah, and then it.
You know how I found out about Bass Hunter? Is the stupidest way.
How'd you find out?
I was a middle schooler, maybe a little younger, just turning into middle school, and I had Apple iTunes, which back then, they didn't really advertise anyone who wasn't popular. So I'd go on the search bar and be like, "What do I look up? I want to look up music." LOL. Let's see if there's a LOL song. And then I found the album by Bass Hunter, which was LOL, and I listened to the songs, and it was he had some like Russian anthem song or something about Russia. And I was like, "Whoa, what's this?" And then I found that all I ever wanted and all this other stuff. I was like, "This guy's really good."
You know what tickles me about that, and probably what the reason why like you were able to find it from LOL?
But
because back when his music was out, T9 texting was still the way that you had to text, so short messages were the best thing that you could ever do.
Gosh, T9 texting.
Just to show our age, for anyone who's growing up now where, a smartphone is your life, T9 texting, if you're ever able to just look up like old cell phones, T9 texting was where you only had your like 9 main number buttons. So you had, for the most part, like 1 through 8 had 3 letters on it and the number, and then 9 had like WXYZ on it, and then 9. And T9 texting was not easy, because depending on the phone you had, you either had to do the entire message right the first time, or you had to delete it all and start over again. So it was tough. I mean, I grew up on the end part of that, because like I started growing up when like slide and like slide phones and the flip phones that you would open, and the keyboard comes out. But nope, I mean, like, for the most part, I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Still love this phone. It's gigantic. And I text very fast. I text so fast now. But yeah, I like Bass Hunter. I think the only person that I can't remember his name. If I ever find it later, I'll send it to you just personally.
Okay.
But I like old music. I think, God, I still think probably like some of my top three like singers / bands. I still like Breathe Carolina. I definitely have a big soft spot for Tokyo Machine.
Tokyo Machine?
Yeah, I love him. And then right now, a lot of times when I'm listening to like some sad boy music, Bad Computer.
Oh, I've heard of Tokyo Machine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bad Computer.
Cantina, Star Wars cover. I remember that one.
Yeah, that one's good. Epic from him is really good.
You know what I just reminded myself of from like the 2000s was that Becky song. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Lesson 3, email me, meet me here on IRC.
Oh god. You know what's a song you should look up? Look up
what?
Look up Bible School by Aisha Erotica. Just do it
Bible
sometime.
School, okay.
Because she talks about AIM in that song. And for anyone who doesn't know what AIM is, that is
AOL Instant Messenger.
That is like old.
I used to use that for a little bit, actually. Then it got deleted.
I think AIM went away because like MySpace and then places like Facebook were coming up and YouTube where people didn't have to use it. And then MySpace died, and then like the new MySpace became Twitter.
Yep.
But I think that'll lead us into topic 3, which is going to be just talking about topic 2, but this will be a little bit more in depth. It says, what music from when you were a kid do you wish there was more of? And we kind of answered that, but again, honestly, I wish I just had music with less industry, sex, dance, party, drugs, women, all that. I actually do wish that I can't remember the artist, but he had a message that he said where I want to make music, and it's never, at least for the foreseeable future while he tries to experiment with it, he wants to leave lovers, genders, and like situational problems very ambiguous, so that way when anyone's listening to it, you know, they can relate to it more.
I miss when songs had like a story, kind of like so, you know, these are goofy examples, but I feel like they hold merit. Like Stacy's mom, you know, Stacy's mom. That's not about the singer talking about Stacy's mom. If you actually know, the lead singer when he was a kid, a friend of his was like hitting puberty and like was like, dude, your grandma's really hot. I think I have a chance. And he's like, dude, no, stop. And he took that experience from, you know, when he was a kid and turned it to a song when he was older, and wrote that song. Or like Avril Lavigne was Skater Boy. Like, that's kind of a story. It's not necessarily about Avril Lavigne. It's just a story. It's a thing. I just miss songs like that where, like, I don't know.
Well, what was it? Like, oh god. There's like an old Britney Spears song that actually was out, and it was actually pretty cool to see her do it. Let me see if I can find it real fast. It was like, I can't remember which song it was from Britney Spears, but it was like she was literally fighting the paparazzi with a microphone because she was just so like done with the paparazzi and answering all these like internet thought up questions like, are you crazy? You know. Let me see if I can find it real fast on YouTube. Oh gosh, what is the song that this is from? You know, when I find it, it will make me go nuts. But yeah, I do say I miss songs that have like a story plot to them. Like even something as dumb as Crazy Frog. That entire music video had an entire story to it. It did. Even though the lyrics make no sense. That had
which is just the Beverly Hills Cop theme.
Yeah, and then like what was it? Like Eminem and Rihanna with Monsters. That entire song,
yeah.
That entire song was just about a cheating, abusive relationship. What was it? There's like a lot of Eminem music. A lot of Eminem music had a lot of meaning to it. Ooh. I think even when I was younger, even though like she gets shit on a lot for this, it's like Katy Perry. Almost all her songs have some artistic story to them. Like you can watch any music video from something as poppy and summery as California Girls to Katy Perry's Unconditionally song to A Part of Me to Roar to all that. Even Chained to the Rhythm by her, which came out only a few years ago, was talking about all the stuff that was happening not like 3 or 4 maybe even 4 or 5 years ago now. Ink had a lot of music videos that had stories to them. I can't think of anything else in particular. I mean, even Kesha's music had stories to it when she was on her old license. And now it's like her newer stuff is like sagas of stories. And
Oh.
yeah, like I highly recommend, like, if people fell out of the loop when Kesha was in her whole lawsuit ordeal of trying to get out of like her old abusive Dr. Luke. Yeah, go listen to her music now. It's really good. And it still has that like that Kesha wild vibe with a little more heart put into it. And even going away from like pop and EDM, like you guys have to remember, like I listen to Breaking Benjamin, I listen to Skillet, I listen to like Falling in Reverse. Those are not pop songs. That is rock music from like the soul. And like Breaking Benjamin, Skillet, Anne Berlin, all those bands do like music videos pretty artistically, like abstract. But I mean, maybe as a little kid and you like that sort of like edgy music, you might not get the message when you're young. But I'll say this, Ricky, as I've gotten older and some songs hit a little too close to home after so many life experiences, you're just like, have you ever gone back like years as you've gotten older and you've gone back, listened to a song, and you're like, oh,
it just hits.
Yeah, you're like
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that lyric meant. Oh.
Yeah, I can't name any off the top of my head, but I've definitely had that. A lot of like early 2000s songs, usually do that for me.
What was it? I mean, like Skater Boy. I didn't get the point of that because I never understood that from the age in which I heard it, because I was in my single digits.
Right.
But it's like when you get older, that entire song is about a girl who wouldn't go out with the guy because of how he looked, essentially. And guess what? He turned out to be great, and she didn't get to like enjoy that life with him because preconceived notions.
Yeah, a lot of the breakup songs or songs about stuff like that like really hit different, especially once you've like dated quite a bit, you've had failed relationships, you've one night stands, whatever the heck, you've done it all. And then you go back and listen to these old songs and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel that. Oh, I've been there,
Well,
whereas prior, you're just like, oh, it's a song. It's pretty good.
this is very recent, by the way, since I am 24. But
Yeah.
Water Parks. And this is something that I've just taken so much. Water Parks is such a good, like, punk rock / punk pop band. When they had the lyric "Life Slows Down" by 24, I originally found that song when I was 22, and I was like, nah, it's not gonna slow down.
Yeah, my life isn't gonna slow down. What are you talking about?
And now I'm here, where my friends can barely hang out because they have stuff that they have to do, and they're still on a lot of retail positions, so the hours are never, like, stable. They're always changing. And then there's me, who is on a stable 9-to-5 job. And between those 9-to-5 hours, I can't do anything. So it's like the afternoon or bust. And most of the times I'm tired after work because I'm looking at numbers, I'm looking at sales stuff, I'm looking at emails, I'm looking at calls, and by the time you're done, you've been staring at a computer all day, which people, if you don't know, that can really like strain your eyes and your brain from just looking at a computer all day. So you're just like, I just want to get off the computer. I just want to like lay down. And then before you know it, 5:30 p.m. goes to 9 p.m. and you're like, well, gotta start getting ready for bed.
I have friends, I'm not gonna out them, but I at least have two of them who are like, man, I can't sleep. I'm like, you're on your phone.
Yeah.
No wonder you can't sleep. But what do you mean? I usually go on my phone until I fall asleep. You're keeping your brain active, for one, by doing a task, which is, scrolling on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
The light from your phone is also irritating your eyes, therefore going to make it harder for them to relax to go to sleep. So, realistically, you want to cut off your phone and computer usage like 30 minutes to an hour before you want to sleep. Or you're just not going to be able to.
I fall asleep to YouTube videos, or I'll fall asleep to making my Google HomePod or my cell phone play thunderstorm sounds. And I am
Oh, I
out.
love doing that.
Um,
I have earplugs in my ears now, like just so that my brain can like be quiet and shut down. You know.
yeah, I kind of wish I had like Adderall or Xanax for
Just in general.
no, just
I used to be on Adderall, man. That shit.
I mean,
That's no joke.
I could use it because maybe it might make my thoughts in my brain shut up for once. Because, I hate using this.
It works.
What?
I was on it. I was prescribed it. I want people to know. A doctor prescribed me on Adderall. I just didn't renew my prescription 10 years ago.
I don't think I fall in either of these. I still think I'm a neurotypical thinking individual, which I hate when people say they're not neurotypical or they are. That's kind of like, cancel culture and any words that have gotten thrown around so much that they don't really have meaning anymore. But my brain, like, I can't speak for everyone, and Ricky, you might be like this. My brain is kind of like a computer with 19 tabs open, 3 are glitching, and where the hell is that music coming from? That is my brain. And I do the bad thing of, and my college would do this all the time, by the way, like when midterms and finals were coming up, they put these posters around the campus, and you know what they said?
What's that?
Don't imagine scenarios that have not happened yet.
That's a mood. I agree with that.
Because my college was finding
Guilty.
Well, so many people at my school would be like, I'm gonna fail this exam, I'm gonna fail this midterm, and I'm like, you're already putting yourself down, and you haven't even seen what's gonna be on the actual exam. And I'm like, you can't do that to yourself, because that is openly putting yourself down to fail, because you're not gonna want to study, you're not gonna want to do anything, and it's like, no, hype yourself up. Tell yourself you're gonna do good, because at worst, here's what I'm gonna say: I would never want anyone to fail a class. I would never want anyone to have to do the bare minimum to pass a class. I think if you're paying money to go to college and get that education, that's your money. What you do with it, I can't tell you what to do. But if you're gonna be in college and you want to get out of college as fast as you can, put in that grind. Put in that grind, y'all, because I'm telling you, as someone like me, where I'm very fortunate to have the position that I have friends around me that have not finished college. And in my area, it's very hard to get a job without... God, it's very hard to get a job with a high school degree or even an associate's. A bachelor's is like the bare minimum. So, if you can go to college, do it. If you go, never put yourself down. Because I would do that, and then all my friends would be like, no, you're gonna do great. And I was even putting myself down with this job, the first week, because I was like, there's so much information, how am I going to do this? And we actually lost a lot of people in training, because they got intimidated by the job. And I stuck it out through the entire month, and by the 3rd week, things started making sense. So
yeah, I definitely agree with the job thing. Stick out a job for at least 4 weeks. If you aren't feeling it by week 4, probably not the job for you. Unless, obviously week 1 they're making you do crazy stuff that was not on the application. I'm talking lifting cars or something. It's a little different, but I've had friends who quit their job way too ahead, and then they're just like, "This job's hard. I quit." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you need something to pay your bills. You're quitting this job before you even got a paycheck, and now you're just in a bigger hole."
Yeah, I think I've had a lot of friends in that situation where they're just like, I don't want to do this job because that aspect of the job I don't want to do. And it's like, here, I'll say this. Do you think I want to make calls to people who are probably as busy as I am and probably aren't going to always sound the most jovial? And
No.
do you think I want to call that every single day? No, but that is a part of the job. And it's like, you're going to have to do so many things in your life that you're not gonna enjoy. Now, here's the thing.
Right.
Within reason, if it is something that is beyond the job description, it is something that is going way out of your boundaries. Like, I'm talking like, physical, emotional, mental, kind of bad workplace environment sort of stuff. That's different. But if everything that your job is doing, like calls or like having to work on cars or what have you, if that's in the job description, you can't just erase that part of the job. You have to do it. You have to stick it out, and it's a part of the position.
A misunderstanding that I hate. I guess it's a misunderstanding, but when people say you don't owe a job anything, it's just a job, they're not your family. I kind of don't agree with that. Because those are the employees that typically clock out way too early. They don't do everything on their shift because they don't care. That usually just says you shouldn't care about anyone at your job. I don't know. At my job, we do everyone does like an extra person's job because we're low staff. So you're doing way more than you should. So sometimes I'll have people coming over helping us out because they see that we're busy. And then in return, I buy them lunch or I help them out. You want to show a thank you, like a gratification, like, hey, we're helping each other out. And they get nothing out of helping us out except for helping us out.
Yeah.
They just do it to do it. And if you're teaching kids and teenagers like, oh, just do what's required of you, don't do anything extra.
No.
I'm like, yeah, you may not be getting anything financially, but you might build a friendship. You might build a mutual respect. And hey, if you're in a hole, they might help dig you out of it.
Yeah. Plus, with this, it's like I said earlier in the podcast for everyone, I'm on like a watch right now, essentially, from my job, where the first 6 months is basically an evaluation of like, how well am I doing? Do they see that I'm dedicated to the job? Do they see I'm putting in the work? And if they do, I can get a huge pay increase, which would be great for me considering everything in the US is very expensive right now. But it's like I would stick that out and I would want to show stuff. And my team currently, like, I wish I could help them. I even said this to my mentor who's been helping me with everything. She's like, no, you're fine. We all got this. But they said, so like a lot of them finished their stuff early. And then you know what they did? For the people who had a lot of quotes that still needed to be built and put out, they would help with those and get those processed. That is how you build relations. That is how you make friends at a company. And that's how you start to almost build people that, like, if something bad's going on at the job or you want people to back you knowing how you work, that's how you solidify something and make it true. That is where you leave your name and your mark on the world right there. And you should always strive incrementally, with obviously in reason, to do better than you've done last time, whether that's art, music, your job, what have you. And I will always, keep trying to do that. And I will say this, when it's come to like my job, I'm so happy that it's like I listen to music while I'll I'm doing practice quotes right now to build for my team because they do it a specific way. And
I do the same.
It's like it's so nice. I'll just listen to music. Boom, there's the information. Put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there, and then before
start getting a groove.
Yeah, and then before I know it, the quote's done, and I can send it off to my mentor, and if she approves it, boom, I'm good. And then from there, you would do like, the process order and everything when the months roll by and the person's ready to do stuff. So it's great. But yeah, I think I owe like a lot of experience from friends, like seeing you and even like everyone from the Fox Hotel to my group, where it's like, do they enjoy everything about their job? No, but are there parts that they enjoy? Do the people that you work with, are they good people? And everyone has their hard days, but it's like people stick it out. We're doing everything we can as we grow up. We have our artistic outlets, whether that's making music, whether that's doing artwork, whether it's video editing, or anything in between. And we're getting by. It's just, I can say for this as to like associate back this to anyone who's like in college or who's going into college or even coming out and you're like working an internship or anything. I never want to forget what it's like to, work retail. I never want to forget what it's like to be in school and have to do, a lot of math. I never want to forget that stuff because I know what it's like then to want to try to do the bare minimum and like pass. But I also know what it is like now where I was ending college with wanting to do better and, pass with A's and B's and have like be in the 3.0 range of everything. And yeah, I'm happy with where I am. There's a lot of growth though. There's so much growth.
Well, that's life. If you ever stop growing, I think you stop living.
Yeah, because then you just kind of like stagnate, and then
yeah, like I have acquaintances, I wouldn't call them friends in real life, who like they still live like they're 16, 19. They're reaching 30. There's never that point in life where it's like maybe you should settle down, and not like in a sense of like relationship, but like get your bearings, pay your bills, address the issues that need to be addressed. Like for me, my dental issues, I've been putting that off. Well, now I took a step back and went, it's going to cost more if I keep waiting and waiting than had I just like put a couple dollars aside every month and then put it towards this.
Yeah.
And so I got it, you get it done, you get out of the way. Stop procrastinating.
You're essentially doing an investment that right now will cost a lot, but later down the road, you're going to realize like, hey, this was actually worth it. Like, you remember, before I started using the Surface Pro 7, my old laptop was dying. Like, kicking a bucket. It was hard to do work on it. So we did this, and my productivity went up so much with college. And I honestly don't think I would have been able to do, like, my 3D class on that laptop. I don't think I would have been able to video edit.
Right.
I got on this, and everything was perfect. So trust me, Ricky would tell you this. Many people our age, would tell you this. Work hard, but work smart, and be very tactful with your time. Especially depending on what you do for a living, whether that's your job, whether that's time management for college, whether that's time management for a full-time position that pays your bills and keeps the lights on, and just try to live. Go touch some grass, y'all, because I have as of recently. I've put on my phone that I'm only allowed 15 minutes of TikTok a day.
I know what you're talking about. There's a setting, it closes it.
And it will lock it for the rest of the day, and it's been so good. I guess I'll say this as we do our wrap up, because I was talking with some of my friends that kind of got me in this mindset, and they felt bad for it, and they helped me get out of it. Do not feel like because you're not watching the news 24/7, or you're not on TikTok getting all the woke information, or you're not on Twitter fighting for the social justice warrior fights. No one should try to do that 24/7. If you try to do that 24/7, you're going to make yourself you're either going to freak out, you're going to give yourself an anxiety attack, or you're going to do what I did, where I was like, if I'm not following this every single second of the day, doom scrolling, I'm not staying educated enough on everything. No, you do not have to do that. I would always recommend check out the news on multiple news sources, then do your own research on a topic if you really want to, and if you find credible cause for anything, then take action when you can. But don't feel like because you're not taking in information 24/7 that you're falling behind, because
I think that's why people avoid politics sometimes, when they say I don't like politics. I don't want to talk about it. It's not always necessarily they don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. It's more so it takes so much time to fact check, to credit sources, to make sure that it's actually true. They just rather not deal with it. They'd rather not even know.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how it's been, I feel like, since 2020, specifically probably around May of the pandemic, because like May and June, you know, that's like, May was when all the YouTubers were getting canceled off the internet, and we lost like a lot of good ones, as well as a lot of bad
Jenna
ones.
Marbles.
I miss her so much. I still watch all her videos though. She is my like antidepressant person. As well as like I watch Emmy Made now. She's like a mom. She's great. I've tried so many recipes that she's cooked, and she's expanded my worldview on like fruits and stuff. But I miss Jenna. Obviously, like she did like some crass stuff, like Shane, but she never did anything to like the level Shane did. But you also
I'm looking at her views. I didn't realize they got this much.
Yeah. She was YouTube.
Wow.
She was like YouTube royalty.
She was OG. I remember she was around when YouTube started.
She was around like when like Ryan Higa was a thing, when Smosh was all the way up.
When Shane was just in his bedroom recording.
And it's like, I love Jenna. Do I think some of the Nicki Minaj parodies and some of the like racial stuff was maybe overhyped? Maybe, because at this point, I'm going to be completely honest with all of you. I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe in criticism culture, where you can give your critiques to a YouTuber or to someone you like and, you know, you respect. And if they take it, like they take some notes from it, that's great. But canceling someone, there's no learning from it. And I don't believe anyone should be canceled. No. I feel like people need to learn. And honestly, I will say this, and I'll be openly honest. Like, I watch Shane's podcast. But do they still do some, like, you know, treading the line things? Sure, but that's comedy. That's just some things of a product of their time that I highly doubt they're going to grow out. But is he doing anything like the 2010s? No.
No. Well, that's the thing. I was watching the Jackass TV show literally yesterday. Just vibing out. I was like, all right, let's go back. They have a warning now before it starts. And it says, this show will not be edited. It has a lot of outdated things that were the social norm. It basically just letting you know, hey, there's going to be some messed up stuff in here. People may be saying some slurs. And really all it is some minor gay jokes. Like, oh, I'm not gay, or, you know, this and that. But people forget that was just socially normal. There was a time when just saying that stuff, that was normal. It doesn't mean it was right. But at the time, that's just what it was.
That was the comedy. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you watch things like movies like Austin Powers, I can't remember.
Oh god, I'm sure there's a lot of jokes that have not aged in there.
If you watch if you watch things like Van Wilder,
yeah. Blazing Saddles, you know how many times they say the N-word? That movie's not canceled. In fact, it got a reboot as a children's movie called Paws of Fury. You know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's these products of their time. And then imagine if they went back now and went, oh, this director should get canceled because he said the N-word in the movie. It's like,
well, it's
dude.
It's like
first of all, context.
But also, like, I've watched a Mice and Men's movie where they say that all the time. And we had a friend that walked out of my house because they're like, this movie's racist. I was like, that's the point. What time period do you think this is set in?
Right.
It's like,
and that's the thing with Blazing Saddles too. The whole joke, or not joke, but I guess point of the movie is that there's a black sheriff and he's having some racism thrown his way because guess what? People back then would be racist.
Yeah.
And he's fighting that, you know, and that's the main character.
I will say I do appreciate movies where they do go back in time. And a lot of the actors, actresses, they all acknowledge that, like, what is happening in the movie, since it's a time in slavery, that it is wrong. But they are
horribly wrong.
They are accurately depicting it. Like, what was it? Like, there's a movie, like, I think it was like 7 or 12 years as a slave in the title. And that movie, oh my god, it is so good. That movie is written so well. and you feel bad for both sides. Highly recommend anyone to watch it, but you really need to watch it with like an open lens or it's going to shock you. So, you know, warning on that, but like, yeah, I mean, even I think I'm a product of my time, but I mean, I grew up in YouTube when, like, I did video games. So I was never talking about a lot of the worldviews. I was talking about, like, what was going on in the story of the game. I was, like, always talking about my theories on the game. And in live streams, you know, it was Christian and I bantering, jumping off cliffs, laughing at slapstick comedy, all that stuff. I don't think I ever had a single video that would have probably ever gotten me canceled on the internet. Because again, it was like me, Christian, Scranner, and maybe a few live streams and videos. And then I, you know, hopped off the YouTube bandwagon because it was really hard to balance a job and college and YouTube. So I left it, and I kind of felt really bad that I left like a lot of my subscribers, because I still have like a lot of faithful ones that have subscribed back when I was, you know, doing YouTube in 2016 when I stopped. And I felt, you know what, well, you know, it's like, it sounds really sad, but I was so sad to make that thing where I was like, Mega Fracture Games is dead. Like, it's done. Because I edited 500 videos by myself with no video editor over the course of 4 years. And now I kind of have to build that back up. And it's an intimidating challenge.
I'd argue now you have the knowledge and wisdom of someone who has done that, and you know what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, but I also fear the trepidation of, like, am I going to slip up? And if I do, are people going to want my head on a pike? Because that's why my art is the way it is. Like, it's...
I think realistically, no. I think you are comfortably at a small enough, I think I am too, where we are such small creators that we're not held to such standards. The bigger you become, I'd argue the bigger your moral values have to be. Like, for example, when Markiplier was smaller, a smaller creator, he had edgier comedy. Well, then he started getting bigger and bigger. Now all of a sudden he has kids watching. He's like, all right, maybe I shouldn't say some messed up stuff. I should watch what I say or I'll get canceled.
But do you think that's come from them being older and just calming down, as like Mark, Jack, and like Bob and Wade all kind of have?
Truthfully, I think to a degree, yes. But I don't think so as well. Because, like Game Grumps, I'll use them for an example. They toned down their comedy quite a bit. If you watch something from 2013 to 2014, they were pretty edgy. They said some like stereotype jokes. There's some N-words that were thrown around. Stuff like that. Do I think they probably do that in a joking way when no one's looking around? Maybe. I wouldn't put it past them. Am I going to cancel them for it? No. I feel like there's a lot of people that do that. I don't do it myself, but I think that's, to a degree, they were more themselves on camera and then realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't be this way. Let's be better. Maybe they don't do it at all now. That could be wrong. I think they have matured and they don't joke that way, but I think once in a while they might say an edgy joke. Maybe not the N-word, but like, oh, hey, edgy joke to say edgy joke, but they're just not going to record that.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that, because what would it be? I
love Game Grumps, by the way. I'm not saying anything negative. I got to put that out there.
Well, no, they're
people nitpick.
Constructive criticism is good, because I've heard the Game Grumps have gotten canceled over some questionable stuff, but again,
I think when you're in a room playing a game with friends, you get a little too relaxed, and then you try to say jokes to offend or get a reaction out of your friend. Whether you mean it or not is one thing, and then sometimes that leads to trouble, and that's what happens with a lot of YouTubers. I think that's a good general way to put it.
I mean, that...
you're like, oh, I'll make my friend laugh by saying this messed up comment. It's like, all right.
I mean, that even happens, though, just on a base-by-base thing for, like, even what happened recently, where, like, it's just in a call, something even small can set a person off and they'll go, and it's like, you know what? I think at honest, just let them be. But I will say this, as someone who's a small, like, little content creator, I will do my best to, try not to get myself canceled, but by no means am I going to be on purist culture, because we are not robots.
I guess that's what I mean. Like, you don't have to censor yourself entirely, but do be a little aware of what you're putting online, because once it's up there, it's up there.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing we
That's
said.
bottom line.
That was the whole thing we said with ending the podcast last time, was we talked about security, and we talked about it's like, if it's not something you would say to broad span like groups of people in public, you probably don't want to say it. But I mean, I won't lie, when I'm like with the guys in a call, like whether it's, like the Discord group both of you, like you and I are in, or my other one, we'll be a little rowdy, but like on streams and stuff, we tone it down. We just try to chill, because
you put on your work voice, your work persona,
kind of. But I mean, like, for example, like Mark, remember, I can't remember his name, but it was the one dude from Syndigo that died.
Yes, Daniel Cryer.
I think that's when Mark ultimately started kind of transitioning away from the big hypey 2016 version of him that, was trying to always
No doubt. I remember that. There was a crossover where Syndigo fans were Markiplier fans, and technically, I guess Super Mega, but even though Super Mega wasn't a thing yet, but they were definitely an edgier audience watching Mark, combined with his younger audience.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Daniel sadly passed, I think Mark was like, I need to focus on what my brand is,
Yeah, and I think they just split because it was a differing in certain things. But even Jack, like, oh my god, Ricky, I never realized how much Jack has slowed down with his commentary than when I watched a 2016 Let's Play of him when we had that flaming green hair. Jack talked so fast. He did the thing of, if there's dead air, people are not interested. So he never stopped talking.
That's one thing I feel like I'm evolving to, is I used to be the same way. I'd be super anxious if there's dead air. I have to be entertaining every 2 seconds. It's like, no. As long as when you talk, you're entertaining, that's all that matters. There can be some breather room.
Yeah.
The content that I watch now, I don't watch Let's Players anymore, for anyone watching. It might be shocking, but I prefer streamers. I prefer people that like take their time, they talk, or there's a discussion and there's some breathing room, and
there's quiet when like a cutscene's happening and you get to enjoy the story. That is how we play on, like, that's how, like, Kevin and Inu, that's how they stream. Like, if there's a cutscene, everyone shut up. Everyone shut up.
It feels like you're hanging out with your friend and you're both like, oh, cutscene.
Yeah. And we'll like say that. We're just like, oh, cutscene, and then everyone will just like be quiet till the cutscene's over. And I like that. Because here's the thing, if y'all want something that doesn't have dead air, maybe hope that your favorite streamer does highlights. But I don't know, maybe take the time, go watch some live streams, maybe get involved in the chat, respect chat rules, all that stuff, and have some fun. Because I'll tell you, streams and podcasts and many things that are chill, like right now, a lot of the music that was playing in episode 1 for you guys that I put behind Ricky and I talking, I'm listening to on repeat right now to help, stay at this level. And
oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I gotta have my little lo-fi music playing. But yeah, ultimately, to wrap everything up, like, you guys get to hear our takes on music and our little ending chat on just basically evolving and maturing, like, up to this point. Because yeah, I'm happy with where I am, and I'm happy with a lot of the risks that I've taken with like art and creating like all this and getting the feedback from like Ricky. Like, I mean, the entire time for you guys don't know this, but like I was working with Ricky to be like, hey, what do you want, like how do you want like Rick's hand to look, all the colors, does this look right, put the OP1 on his mug, all this stuff, because I try to, just make everything magnifique. Because I'll tell you one thing, if like older me didn't like have everything exactly the way he wanted, it didn't feel that good. But now that I like this interactive and creating a community and building stuff where it feels like when my friends join, they're as much as a part of the project as I am technically the one creating it, that feels like so good. Because even I plan to I was gonna actually ask your permission for this after it, Ricky, but I guess I'm gonna say it now. I want to do little Rick cameos of just making Rick like a plushie in the world, and then just sticking him in spots like freaking Squish.
That'd be cute.
But yeah, I think that's it, everyone. Just like the last episode, I will make sure to put end cards up for you all, so you guys can go over to Ricky's channel. All his links will be in the description below. And if you guys have a topic that you want us to cover, I have the 10 left podcasts for the minimum of this year. But if y'all come up with anything, feel free to send it to Ricky on Twitter under one of his posts. Feel free to put it in our YouTube comments, because most likely we'll probably read them. And yeah, please send us anything you guys have, critiques, comments, topics, and I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to say, Ricky?
You know, I just want to say thank you for tuning in and listening and being patient with us as we find our flow in this crazy podcast world.
I think now with the way that I'm doing it through OBS, I think things are just going to be a lot easier. Because I honestly think my last DaVinci project, you saw how many times I copied that GIF over and over again of the smoke. And yeah. I don't think DaVinci probably likes having to render that over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's easier just to render one big video file.
I'm so happy that this GIF plays like a video in OBS. Oh my god. Makes it so easy on me.
You're welcome, man. I told you. I gave him some tips. I'm like, hey, you should try OBS. He's like, really? I'm like, trust me.
Because the problem is I have the stigma of OBS being purely a streaming software.
I thought the same thing until I started doing the brew, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I started doing streaming stuff for my streams, and I'm like, you can kind of make assets for recording.
Mm-hmm.
Like pseudo, not editing, but transitions you can do. And then like when you edit, you're doing less work because you did it already. Like, I don't know.
You know what's something I need to commission you for also? Is a multi-use opening and ending song for the podcast. And I want to make like an ending card where
some like lo-fi.
Yeah, like anything like that, because I noticed that it was a little like just a little awkward of purely starting and strictly ending for the podcast just like immediately. So I don't know. You guys might get something because this isn't going to be finished immediately, and if Ricky comes up with even something that's 15 seconds so you guys get to click around and look at all the end cards, and I gotta figure
I'll throw something together.
Yeah, and maybe I'll figure out an end card. I don't know what I could do. It could even be something that's just like an empty table with the coffee mugs and like our hands away, like, hey, it's over, go here, yeah, I'll figure out something. But I definitely want to just have that little zhuzh of like the opening song, like fading in and then fading out when the voices come in, and then like when we end, it's like, here's the end card after we say goodbye. So we'll figure something out for you all. If everything goes as planned, you guys might actually get that this episode. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Again, please head over to Ricky's channel. Subscribe to him, subscribe to me, hit the notification bell. That's still weird to say since I stopped doing YouTube before the notification bell came out. Yeah, don't forget to check all the links below. And we will see you guys for episode 3. We're recording this on August 30th, so we're probably going to plan to record sometime in August, whenever we have time, for you guys to get a podcast in September. So yeah, we will see you guys in roughly a month.
See you next month, guys.
Bye, guys.